Good morning, children. Welcome back to the English class. Today we are going to continue with the lesson The Red Room. I hope you all have written the new words and the word bank as well as done exercise A1 and A2 in your English notebooks. Today we will do some more exercises, discuss these exercises in detail. But first of all, let us start with the listening skill exercise. So please open your books, open your real English books on page number 72. You have listening and speaking. Please take that page out and take a pencil in hand. And when I'm reading the transcript, you all are going to fill in the blanks. There's a story, a very interesting story with a few blanks. You have to listen and fill it with me. Has everyone got a real English book and a pencil? Let's start. There was a village, Puri, where people were very poor. They earned their livelihood by farming. But for 5 years it did not rain in Puri. Their land was no longer fertile. Their cattle were skinny and not able to plow the farms. Am I going too fast? Okay, I'll read a bit slower. The people of Puri were starving and the children were suffering from malnutrition. Their two wells were also drying up. The people of Puri were so distressed that many of them left their village and migrated to other places. Those who stayed back had very little money to do anything. Many people lost hope and even stopped farming in their own lands. Have you filled in the blanks so far? Now we continue. There was a young boy of 15, 1-5. He had lost his father and mother during the drought. He had two younger sisters and a younger brother to look after. Even though he was so young and had such a huge responsibility, he was not afraid to face the challenges. He took to farming in his father's land. He did not have any bulls to pull the plow, so he used his shoulders to support the plow. Many people told him to leave his family and go to the city to earn, but he refused to do so. One day, when he was plowing his field, his plow struck something hard. When he bent down to inspect it, he discovered a big pot of treasure. It had coins of gold and silver and many pieces of jewelry. There were two choices before him. One was to take the treasure and move with the family to the city where he could live well. In the city, they would have good food to eat and all the luxuries. The other choice before him was to take the treasure and sell it. Then he could use the money to buy a better water pump which could draw water from sources deeper than the two wells. He could also use the money to buy some cattle and better seeds for the village. This way, he could help his whole village and do something about his neighbors who were starving. Wasn't it a very, very interesting and inspiring story? You must have learnt a lesson as well. Have you all filled in the blanks? Now let us see what the answers are. There was a village dash where people were very poor. What was the name of the village? Puri. Puri. This village is in Orissa still. You have a city actually and it is called Puri, but here this village is called Puri. They earned their livelihood by farming. But for 5 years, it did not rain in Puri. Their land was no longer fertile. Their cattle were skinny and not able to plow the farms. Now I'll spell skinny and plow. Skinny is Skiny. That means very, very thin because they were not getting enough to eat. And plow is Plough. The people of Puri were starving and the children were suffering from malnutrition. Malnutrition. Malnutrition is when you don't get enough food and enough proteins, etc. Then this is called malnutrition. Their dash wells were also drying up. How many wells did they have? Two. TWO. The people of Puri were so distressed. Distressed. I'll repeat the spelling. Distressed. That many of them left their village and migrated to other places. Migrated. Usually the birds migrate and we also migrate if we find that things are better somewhere else. So they and migrated to other places. Those who stayed back had very little money to do anything. Many people lost hope. There are two words here, lost hope and even stopped farming in their own land. They thought things are not going to get better, so they lost hope and they also stopped farming in their own lands. Now we come to the story of the young boy of 15. It's a continuation. There was a young boy of 15. He had lost his father and mother during the drought. Drought, when you have scarcity of water and nothing grows. Drought. He had dash younger sisters. Two, TWO, and a younger brother to look after. Even though he was so young and had such a huge responsibility, he was not dash to face the challenges. He was not afraid to face the challenges. He took to farming in his father's land. He did not have any bulls to pull the plow. Usually you have two bulls in front and these bulls pull the plow and so you can plow the farms. But he did not have bulls to plow or to pull the plow. So I'll repeat this one. He did not have any bulls to pull the plow. So he used his shoulders to support the plow. So he took the plow, used his shoulders and pulled the plow. Many people told him to leave his family and go to the city to earn, but he dashed to do so. But he refused to do so. Refused. Refused means said no. One day when he was plowing his field, a plow struck something hard. When he bent down to inspect it, he discovered a big pot of dash, a big pot of treasure. Treasure. Treasure is what we call khazana in Hindi. It had coins of gold and silver and many pieces of jewelry or jewelry. It had coins of gold and silver and many pieces of jewelry. Jewellery. There were two choices before him. One was to take the treasure and move with the family to the city where they could live well. In the city, they would have good food to eat and all the luxuries. The other choice before him was to take the treasure and sell it. Then he could use the money to buy a better water pump. To buy what? A better water pump which could draw water from sources deeper than the two wells. He could also use the money to buy some cattle and better seeds for the village. This way he could help his whole village and do something about his neighbors who were starving. I hope everyone has filled up all the blanks and has also checked the answers. If you have something which was incorrect, please write the correct answer beside the wrong answer. Now we are going back since we have completed listening skill. We go to back to page number 69 and we have already done exercise A1 and A2. Today we are going to do A3. Now A3 is a question which we call higher order thinking question. You'll have to think and answer on your own. You don't have ready-made answers. You can't copy from your friends. You will have to put on your thinking caps and think. Now let us start. If you want, you can jot down some points with a pencil and later you will write these as a paragraph. Has everyone opened page 69? Let's start. You can read loudly wherever you are with me. The young man in the story realized that the thing we must fear the most is the feeling of fear itself. Make pairs and discuss what he meant by the following lines. Now in this situation, we can't make pairs and discuss. So we are going to think individually and write a small paragraph on our own after thinking about these lines. So we are not going to make pairs, but if you want to discuss, call your friends and discuss with them, you can do so. But now I have decided to give it as individual work and not as pair work. Now the first one, the worst of all the things that haunt poor mortal man, and that is fear. It is the fear itself that is beyond any reason and understanding. It is fear that haunts the imagination of men and increases the awareness of even the smallest and the simplest things. Now, what you have to think about is that what is the worst thing that haunts human beings is fear itself. It is not ghost or any other scary thing. And when a person is afraid, he cannot give a reason for the fear. It is beyond understanding. You cannot understand the fear or the reason for that fear. And it is fear that haunts the imagination of men. And mostly this fear is imaginary. It has not happened. People get scared and think what would happen if it happens, and increases the awareness of even the simplest thing. Even the simplest things become very scary. As I told you, a rope would look like a snake, or some shadow from far may scare you. You would think it is a ghost. So please think about these lines and write a small paragraph. A small paragraph doesn't mean I write just 2 lines. Please try to think you can write at least half a page. And if you want, maximum 1 page. Now, the second one, it is the fear that follows you through the corridor so that you dare not turn. It fought against me in the room. There is fear in that room, plain black fear. Now, the first one you had to write about fear, anyone's fear. But the second one, you have to think about the narrator of the story or the writer and say whether you agree when he says that it was fear, it was not actually the ghost that was following him through the corridor. And so it was fear that was following him. He had become a bit scared, and so he did not dare to turn back and look. It fought against me in the room also. It was fear in the room as well. The candles were getting extinguished and he got scared. Then the other side candles got extinguished. He went and lighted them up, and then he later, when he came out at dawn, because he had tripped, fallen down, became unconscious. But when he gained consciousness, then he came to the conclusion that there were no ghosts. It was just fear in that room that made him behave that way. And he ended by saying that it was just plain black fear. Now, both these you will think properly, think very well, and then you write the first one also. You need to write a small paragraph, and the second as well. But the first one, in general terms, that means fear of anyone, and in the second one, the fear of the narrator, why he behaved the way he behaved. Was it a ghost or was it just plain fear? Now, both these I'll be giving in the ERP prep. You will have to write in your notebooks. Now we come to the vocabulary section. It is on page 69. We have already done homophones, so I think you are going to do it very quickly. Read the following sentences. The wind blew away my blue shirt. There is a way to weigh a log of tree. The maid made the bed. Look at the spellings. They sound similar. The sound is the same. The spelling and the meanings are different. So these words are called homophones. Now you have to find a homophone for each of the words given in the table, and then you have to make sentences using both the words. Now this again, I'm going to be giving half of it as homework and half of it we are going to do now. We are going to write the homophone right now so that later on in prep you just have to make sentence for each of the words below. That means you are going to make a sentence for each of the homophones and using both the words in the same sentence. Make a sentence using both the words. Please try your best to use both the homophones in one sentence. For example, if I have sun, sun, S-O-N, sun, and S-U-N, sun, and I have to make a sentence using both in one sentence, I'm going to say my neighbor's son, S-O-N, fainted in the sun, S-U-N. So I have used both in one sentence and used them correctly. You have such sentences on top also. The three sentences are the examples you should follow. Now let us quickly see the homophone. The first word is male, M-A-I-L. Male means post. What is the homophone? Right, M-A-L-E, male, which means boy. Brake, B-R-A-K-E, are the brakes you apply in the car or in scooter or any other means of transportation. And what is a homophone? Brake, B-R-E-A-K. Now this break also has two meanings. It is a homonym as well. One break is when you break something into pieces. And the other break is the interval. Like we have the short break. So you could use any of these meanings. Now cell is S-E-L-L, which is the opposite of buy. And the other is cell, C-E-L-L, cell. You have a prison cell and you also have cell or the battery in the torch or other gadgets. Now sail is S-A-L-E. What is the homophone? Right. S-A-I-L. Sail the boat or sail in the boat. Now stair, S-T-A-I-R, is the stair or the stairs you take to a building, the flight of stairs. But then the homophone is S-T-A-R-E, stare, when I look at someone constantly. And that means I'm staring at you. I'm going on looking at you. I don't look here and there. Maybe you have done something wrong. I want you to become aware of it. Or maybe I just stare because I'm in my own thoughts. So S-T-A-R-E is the homophone. Where, W-A-W-A-R-E, where is like you have software, hardware. And what is the homophone? Wear. W-E-A-R, wear, a shirt or socks, whatever. Now bear is B-E-A-R. Again, bear is that animal bear. As well, when you tolerate something, I could not bear the pain. I could not bear the heat. So it has two meanings. And the homophone, of course, has to have a different spelling and meaning. But the sound has to be same. So we are going to write bear, B-A-R-E, bear. Bear means without clothes. You may have a bare child, a bare poor man, or a bare tree when the tree has no leaves. Then steal, S-T-A-L, steal is when a thief steals something, chori karna. And a homophone is steel, S-T-E-E-L, the metal which is used to make our dinner set, our tumblers, our plates, etc. Now we have an exercise with, of course, homophones, and the homophones are given in the brackets. You have to select the correct one and fill in the blank. Take a pencil in hand and you can just stick it in the brackets and later you can write it in the blank. Now the sentences you will have to make on your own of the homophones given in exercise B1. If you find the space is less, you can do it in your notebooks. Now choose the correct words to complete the sentences. Meera got a dash for her new dress. Which one should I fill in? The first compliment or the second one? Right. The first compliment, which means a praise. And the second one, I want you to find out the meaning. Now, Thursday is the dash day of the week. F-O-R-T-H or F-O-U-R-T-H. Right. F-O-U-R-T-H. Our dash is very strict. This is a word misspelled by many children. Should it be P-A-L or P-L-E? No, it is the first one is the correct one. The head of the school is P-R-I-N-C-I-P-A-L. The other one means rules or law. The curtain is hanging by a dash, C-H-O-R-D or C-O-R-D. The second one, C-O-R-D. Now we go to fifth one. He dashes food slowly. Choose or choose. C-H-E-W-S is the correct one, the second option. Now the sixth one, my dash hops very fast. Hare, H-A-R-E, hare and not this hare. H-A-R-E is the animal a little bigger than a rabbit and usually wild. Come dash this moment here, H-E-R-E, here and there, and not H-E-A-R, which you do with your ears. Now the eighth and the last one, we are very honored to dash you M-E-E-A-T and M-E-A-T. This one is very simple. Meet someone as double E, and the one with EA is something non-veg. So you must write these words later on in the blanks. Active and passive voice we are not going to do right now. Listening and speaking we have done. Now we have a little bit of debate here. In the story that is on page 73, please open it. In the story about Puri, the peasant boy is faced with two choices: move to the city and have a good life with his siblings. Siblings means brothers and sisters, using the treasure. Or the second choice, sell the treasure and buy a powerful water pump, better seeds and some cattle for the village. Now organize a classroom debate. Debate means when one group takes 1 point or one person takes 1 point and the other takes the other point. So we could have the first child saying that he should have moved to the city and for a good life for him and his brothers. And the second group would take the second point and try to prove it. We can't have a debate right now, but what I want you all to do is in your rough notebook, please take one of the two choices. If you think he should have moved to the city and found a good life for himself and his brother and sisters, write that and give reasons. And if you think the second one, write it and at least write a page in your rough notebook. And we can discuss it in the live class. Ma'am and I can discuss it in the live class whenever we take a live class. Now the last thing here is writing, and we like to talk to our friends or parents about our day and how we spent it. We share it with others when something nice happens to us. If something bad happens, talking about it with them helps us feel better. Many of us also like to write about their day, their hopes and dreams in a diary. Now we have already done diary entry in the earlier classes, and we have the format in our mind, so we can easily write it. Some of us even have a stack of old diaries written over the years, which we read and look back to remember our past. Writing a diary is very personal activity, and you don't want the other people to read it. The format here is given, the date, opening line is Dear Diary, of course, then introduction, main part, conclusion, and last of all, you can write good night and write your name. Now, there are three topics for the diary entry. Whenever you have the time, please select one of them and write a diary entry which is not very long, around 40 to 50 words, again in your rough notebook, and keep it there in the correct format. Now, the last activity is very interesting. There's a table, this you can do in the textbook. You have to think of three things that you fear most. Write them down in the table like the one given below. You can draw a table in your notebook, or you can write it in the textbook if it is something short. The things you fear, write 1, 2, and 3, and the reason for your fear. Suppose I am scared of heights, then the reason could be that when I was a toddler, I fell down from somewhere high, and so I am afraid. Now, way to get rid of the fear. Think of a way how you can get rid of the fear. Suppose if I'm scared of heights, I can take my friend with me and she can take me up. If I am afraid of going on the escalator, now what is the reason for my fear? Because I saw someone tumbling down the escalator, so I got scared of escalator. Now, the ways to get rid of this fear, I can ask my friends to be with me, one friend to hold the hand, one friend to be behind me, and I go up maybe a number of times, and then the fear vanishes. So please write three things which you are afraid of, then the reasons, and then last of all, how do you think you could get rid of these three fears? So these two activities, that is the debate, you have to take one side whether he should have moved to the city or stayed in the village, and write a nice, interesting debate. It is like a speech only, but debate is when one represents one side and the other represents the other. Then you are going to write a diary entry on any one of the topics, and last of all, the things you fear and the reasons and the ways to get rid of. Active and passive voice we are going to do later. Thank you, children. Till we meet again with another interesting topic. Thank you. Take care.